What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to break down one of the tunes from my latest EP that's coming out on Rupture this month, called the Deeper Still EP, and this track is called SK85. This one was made on the Akai Force, which is currently set up in my studio in the best position for filming, so that's the primary reason why I've chosen to break this down, but also this one received the most attention. So massive big up to 00 and DJ Mantra at Rupture for having me on. Please check out the pinned comment in the comments section where I've given you a link to the release, which is on Rupture's Bandcamp. And currently the track Sprinter is available for download, and the next 3 tracks are going to be released over a kind of a staggered schedule up until the 26th of April, when the vinyl will be available for purchase on Rupture's Bandcamp. So please check out my pinned comment in the comments section, and that will take you to Rupture's Bandcamp for the EP release. So yeah, this track is called SK85. So if we just take a look at the Force, what we've got here is one track with an Aman. We've got another track, sound effects, and our third and final track is sub. So it's a very, very simple track, but I suppose it's the patterns that are doing all the work where I've programmed the Amans and everything else. So let's just take a look at the Aman first of all, and I'm going to talk to you about how I've routed the outputs of the Force. So if you don't already know, the Force has 4 outputs, which you can use as 2 stereo pairs or 4 individual mono outputs. So whenever I use the Force or my MPC and I'm not using the facility where you can piggyback off of a digital USB digital interface audio engine, and I'm just using the physical outputs, I'll most of the time, if not all of the time, have my breaks in mono. So my Aman in this case, if we go to the IO, this is coming out of output 1, so it's just coming out physically out the back of the machine into my channel 1 on my mixing desk. Sub is coming out again on a mono channel, output 2, and then I've got my sound effects which are coming out of 3 and 4. I've also got my return track which has got a delay on it, and I think return 1 has got reverb, return 2 has got delay. So my return tracks are also coming out of 3 and 4. If I had the MPC Live or the MPC Live 2, which has got 6 outputs, I would probably separate the returns and put them on 5 and 6. But if I was running the Force or my MPC through my Tascam Model 24 via USB, then I'd be able to separate them all like that. But that's how I've got them routed. So yeah, let's just talk about the effects quickly. So the Aman break has simply just got a compressor. It has got an XY effects, but I'm not using it. The compressor is very gentle, but you can hear the difference between the Aman raw and the Aman compressed. So this Aman basically is the original Aman break, and it was sampled into my Akai S3200 XL, and that's what's giving it that kind of old school vibe. I think if I'd have just brought an Aman break sample into the Force, it really does make all the difference if you've actually sampled it through one of those old machines. I think that makes all the difference in the actual vibe and sound quality. So let's actually go to that track. So you can see that I've got the Aman split over 2 banks. Most of these in the first bank are just the straight Aman that's all chopped. So if we press and hold shift and press clip and go into the program editor, see the waveform here. I'll just play you some of these samples back. So all split up. Most of these in Bank B are kind of time stretched or pitched up in some way. Classic Akai S-series sampler time stretch. So all those time stretch samples are used in the track. So I'm going to play the track back to you anyway. I just want to quickly show you what samples I'm using. Let's just go to the sound effects track. I'm using 16 samples here, so I'll just take you through these quickly. So this is the main stab that you hear at the start of this track. So most of these samples from old 80s reggae dancehall concerts. and that's pretty much what I was sampling at the time into my S3200. So all of these samples have gone through the S3200.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a bit of background, because the track's called SK85 because there was a big dancehall reggae concert back in Jamaica in 1985 called a place called Skateland, and that's where I got the SK and the 85 from the year.
Hold on, you hear me? Respect everybody.
So you got all these nice little vocal samples.
Yeah, man. I'll do it proper, man. So that's say no.
Every time, sing.
Time stretches.
One tongue,
Put up your one if you love the emperor.
Okay, so just for those of you that want a quick shortcut on how to build variation very simply, obviously we've got a big bank of pads here, whether it's this or the MPC. I've got one pad here, that's going through a reverb. I've got exactly the same sample, so I've simply copied that pad to another pad and just put this through a different return. So this way I can have this little hook that you'll hear in the track in a minute. And then just before the breakdown is about to drop, I'll just put that one with the delay at the end, just to give that nice little feeling of anticipation for the breakdown, or the drop, should I say.
I ain't gonna stone a one fashion and a rubber dub style. A spear ragamuffin man.
I don't actually think these samples appear in the track, but they were just there. Nice little suck back sound effect. Some kind of kettle drum sample there. And a couple of sirens. Or a laser. Classic dub reggae stuff. So yeah, that's that. And then quite simply, just literally one sub bass sample. And then if you press the note button to go into notes mode, you get the 16 levels of notes. And I think the bass line in this is just simply one octave apart. And that's it. Very simple. So I'll play the track back to you guys, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the arrangement and some other stuff before the end of the video. So let's check it out. Just before I do, I've only literally got 10 rows in this track. So it's very simple. Like, if you've not used the Force before, you create clips and they're going across horizontally in rows, and your tracks are vertical. So whenever you trigger one of these rows via the launch buttons here, it will play all these in sync with each other. And the way I recorded this was literally just, I mean, it's not even really arranged. I literally just arranged each clip in order and then just triggered them back and recorded them straight into Ableton Live. And I think maybe I did a little bit of editing in Ableton Live, where I'd sort of launched a row of these clips and they'd gone on maybe 16 bars too much. And, you know, you've just got to put your DJ thinking cap on at that point and go, right, that's gone on for too long. Let's cut out that 16 bar section. Anyway, I'm going to play it back to you.
I ain't gonna stone a one fashion and a rubber dub style, black people. Ragamuffin. Every time, sin, unsettle. All nice and decent people come original. Rough. A spear ragamuffin man. And so we do it intelligent. Warm and easy, sin. Now dedicated to all jungles, all firehouse, massive enough respect.
Yeah, man. I'll do it proper, man. So that's say no. Almost with us all tight. Jesus. Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father. Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father. Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father. Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father.
one tongue,
Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father. Put up your one if you love the emperor. Put up your one if you love the father.
So yeah, that's it for the most part, guys. The tune does carry on for another minute or so and the bass drops out, but you can go and check it out. Check out the pinned comment. Like I say, the release is being staggered over the next couple of weeks. So Sprinter came out towards the end of last week. I think it was Friday. But this one will be available within the next couple of weeks, and the full release will be available on the 26th, and you can grab the vinyl then. So yeah, just check out my pinned comment in the comment section. So yeah, as you can see, very simple tune, a nice simple roller. It just seemed to really work for the ravers over the last year from the feedback that I got from Double O. And it was mostly his partner Indie, DJ Mantra, that was playing the tune. I think it was just working for her and working for the crowd. I'm just eternally grateful for the opportunity to be on such a cool label and to have the friendship that I do with the guys at Rupture. I feel very blessed to have the opportunity. So just a couple of technical things that I wanted to talk about. So this Aman sounds really great. It's got a very authentic jungle sound that only can be achieved by having the right equipment, whether that's an Amiga or an Akai S-series sampler that had those classic time stretch algorithms, and also the punch and saturation that you get from overdriving the input on those. This is where that's from, my old S3200 XL. But I've got a compressor on here. If I just disable that, you can still hear that really nice saturation on this sample. You know, it's just got that, I don't know, it's just a different kind of energy than if I'd have just imported the Aman from original. And so this is an original Aman break from the record that I sampled into the S3200, but it's the S3200 or the S3200 XL that has done that kind of got that saturation for me. There's just a very subtle difference, but it does work. When you put a compressor on it, it just gives it that real nice kind of spaciousness. Just gives it that energy. Also, one other thing that I wanted to speak about is some of these reggae samples, particularly the speech ones. So this one in particular, I'm going to go a bit deep here, but it might be interesting to some people. So in the 80s, sort of 83, 84, 85, 86, I was kind of between the ages of like 10 and 12. So I was 10 in 1984. And at that age, my dad used to take me up to Tottenham, where he's from, in North London, and my nan lived there for, you know, half of my childhood before she passed away, sort of in the mid-90s. But I would go up there literally pretty much every Saturday with my dad. Him and my nan would sit and watch, like, I don't know if those of you from the UK remember in the 80s, if you're a similar age to me, you'd remember that the wrestling would be on about midday on ITV, so it'd be like Giant Haystacks, and Big Daddy would be on the wrestling, and then there'd be football in the afternoon. But because it was so peaceful and safe at that time, even in inner city London, I could just literally walk down all these concrete walkways in this block of flats in Tottenham and walk down through the sort of garden, or the communal area where all the grass was and all the plants and stuff, and there'd be families from all different backgrounds, cultures, races, religions, whatever, just blasting out reggae across these estates. And my nan's estate was one of them, and I got exposed at a very early age to that kind of sound where you can hear a concert or live music being played over the sort of natural air of the space that you're sort of in. You know, whether you're sitting in a flat, you know, I've experienced this many times having lived in London for the past 35 years, where you can just hear that inner city urban. You know, I think Gold is Timeless captures a lot of that. My favourite track on that album is This Is a Bad, and it's got that classic pirate radio kind of vibe where you can just imagine on a warm summer's night you can hear that bass and those kind of vibes coming over sort of from over the horizon, and there's some life going on out there whether you're part of that or not. And it's kind of a comforting feeling to me, and it really reminds me of being a child in the 80s. And this sample is, you know, a lot of these samples have got it, but this one in particular, you know, you've got this MC on stage, and then you've got this big kind of spatial difference between him and that whistle, like the crowd in the background, which is someone whistling. And you can't, I don't know if you can pick it up on this video, but for me that sample really sort of encapsulates that kind of sound quality, which is a warm feeling for me. It's a really weird thing. I've experienced it many times, like I say, living in London. As much as it's been a struggle sort of living in flats in London and trying to get away with making music, there's been some times when it was just easy and good vibes. And just, it's strange how like a little sample can, you know, incorporate a kind of a sonic vibe that takes you back like a time machine to a whole different era. This one in particular takes me back to being a 10-year-old kid walking around the streets of Tottenham at 10 years old. Can you imagine that these days? But you'd think inner city London would have that kind of danger, but not for me. In the 80s, as a little kid, I could walk around, you know, these estates and just have this, like, particularly in the summer, have music playing out, people were having barbecues, families were getting on, cultures and races were getting on. It was good times, man. Anyway, just a little bit of a backstory there. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please do go over to Bandcamp, check the link out. It's my pinned comment down there, and that will take you to Rupture's Bandcamp, and you can see my release on there. It's called Deeper Still by Type. 4 cracking tracks on there. Go and check it out, guys. And as ever, if you want lessons from me on either the Akai Force, MPC, S2400, any of the other machines you've seen me use, or anything else, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com. I've also got my MPC Masterclass video courses still going strong up there, so please go and check those out. That's courses.tubedigga.com. All the links for all that are in the description, and the link for this EP on Rupture is in my pinned comment. Big up, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.